Now, people might go to me, oh yeah, doubt's becoming very popular in the church, and yeah, you know, I think doubt's a good thing, and yeah, you know, doubt's a part of faith, mystery, unknowing, the dark night of the soul. That's great. Yeah, I can accept that. And probably most people in this room go, yeah, I know I can accept that. Do you know what the problem is? We have found a way, well, I found a way anyway, of saying, oh, I believe in doubt, while not experiencing the trauma of it, the true trauma of what it means to doubt. Now, how do we do that? Well, there's a story that I love about this guy who thinks he's seed on the ground. He literally thinks he's pieces of seed. And he goes to a psychoanalyst for years. And after years of analysis, he finally goes, I'm not seed. I'm a human being. And he feels really happy. He spent loads of money, but he's really happy. He goes away. And 3 weeks later, he's back at the analyst's door, knocking the door. The analyst opens the door, sees the guy sweating. He's upset. He says, what's wrong? He says, my next door neighbors have got chickens. He says, I'm terrified they're going to eat me. The guy says, but you know you're a human being. You know you're not seed. And he goes, I know that, but do the chickens know that? Right? Now, you know, how does this work? This is an important structure to humans, right? Take it for like this. You know, I know, we all know that having more money is not going to make us happy. We all know that having a bigger house isn't going to, you know, somehow give us the, you know, that thing that we're looking for. Or having a better car is going to make us feel good about ourselves. We all know that's not the case. The problem is, as soon as we walk away from the conversation, we act as if having a nicer car would be good for us. We act as if having a bigger home will fill some need. We act as if having lots more money will somehow make us happy. The point is not that you don't believe it. You believe that's all ridiculous, but we live as though it's not. We live as though it's not. So Niels Bohr, the famous scientist, when somebody came to his house and went, you've got a horseshoe over your door. You know, you don't believe in superstition. You don't believe that's going to keep the demons out, do you? And he laughed and says, of course not. Why would he take me for? I'm a scientist. And then later on, somebody asked, well, why do you have it? And he says, well, I've heard it works even if you don't believe in it. Right? Right. The point is, you know, if I'm driving a big car and talking about the evils of the environmental crisis, or I'm sitting in Starbucks talking about how, you know, big corporations are really bad, you know, the point is I'm engaging in the ironic gesture where I critique the very thing that I'm doing in the moment of doing it. In my material existence, I do what I'm critiquing, the ironic gesture. So what am I saying? What we do is we go, no, I do doubt. Because you know what's believing on our behalf? Our institution, our religious institution. I say that I doubt, but then I enter into the institution and every song is Jesus is my boyfriend, and every sermon is about God is there and God's big daddy and is going to look after me. Every prayer is that God's going to answer and God's looking out for me and God loves me and it's all going to work out well in the end. You go like, oh, right, so I'm doubting because the institution believes on my behalf. The minister believes so that I don't have to. In other words, so that's why as soon as the minister expresses doubt, there's crisis in the community because they're the security blanket. If a kid walked into this room with a security blanket, they would know that they're in a room full of people, but they wouldn't feel the trauma of that experience while they've got their security blanket. You take the security blanket away and they experience the trauma of the reality that they know. We know that doubt's important and we already know that doubt's part of faith, most of us. But we don't experience the trauma of it because we have a security blanket of our religious services, our prayers, our worship songs. We do not ritualize the pain. You see, our rituals express something so that we don't have to. This is why Kierkegaard said, what is a poet? A poet is someone who screams out in agony, who cries out, and yet whose lips are so formed that when they scream, beautiful music is heard. So when we say to the poet, play to us again, what we're really saying is, may new disasters befall you. Do you want to do another one? No. There's a sense in which, the thing is believing. We need to be able to ritualize the full range of a human experience. We need within the church to create hymns of doubt and uncertainty and of darkness. We need to express. Why? So that we experience the trauma of doubt. Christ didn't just doubt intellectually. Christ experienced the trauma, and yet we do it like watching a horror film. We kind of experience the horror, but we don't really. We're divorced from it. We can watch it safely. We can experience the safety while intellectually feeling good about ourselves because we acknowledge that, oh, we're clever enough to know that we might not have all the answers. No, the truly Christological experience is where we experience the trauma of the doubt, where we come into the religious institution and we are faced with the horror of it, and we experience that and we're not afraid of it, and we bring it into ourselves. So within the church, and I don't think a lot of churches can do this, so we're going to have to form new ones. And maybe, so that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Sermons and hymns that don't just talk about being fine, but also express that we are lost, confused, and broken, and blind.
I once was lost, but now I'm lost. I once was lost, but now I'm lost.